I'm gonna watch it, but just continuing to pretend like I'm asleep.
Sleep.
Sleep.
You see nothing.
It's like that's a Laya and Orlo problem.
The first half of the night goes by. Ayla, you hear some crackling, some movement, some definitely normal woods sounds for sure. So you're aware of there's things moving around you for sure, but nothing comes close enough to you that you have seen anything yet. Flo, while you're trying to keep an eye out as well, you don't hear anything trip any of your traps, and also you really don't see anything else. You do hear also most of the same sounds that Ayla hears, but nothing out of the ordinary. Let's say that.
Okay.
Is there anything that either one of you would like to do before your first watch shift is over?
Nah. Just gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing in particular either.
Cool. So then, Orlo and Laya, you wake up. What are you going to do, Flo? Are you going to rest for the evening, or are you going to also stay awake for the second shift?
I'm gonna go do that sentry sleep where it looks like I'm. Actually, there's one thing that I want to do.
Sure.
I think about it. What's in the keg again? Is it like?
It's the wine that they've been drinking. The wine that you and Laya had that one night.
We don't have water per se.
You would definitely have water skins for sure. I know Flo, or I know that Orlo definitely does for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
do
do
as
have
well.
I do have a water skin. How big are the leaves here?
Oh, I have 2 water skins actually. So if someone needs one, hit a girl up.
Most of them are probably about hand sized, like a normal person's hand size, so bigger than mine, smaller than yours, most likely. But you could definitely find some that were a little bit bigger than that for sure, because there are some trees around here that are relatively large.
I do want to find a leaf.
Okay.
That's pretty big. I do want to pour some water into it and putting the stone in the water, just seeing if anything happens.
So you set the stone in it. With the amount of water that you have in there, it kind of seems like it wants to float, but it doesn't quite. But no other immediate reaction.
But no, I shouldn't. I shouldn't put it in the keg. We'll just wait. I'll just wait. That is weird though. That it didn't just. And this is a pretty hefty size rock, right?
It's.
I mean, not huge, but it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty. I mean it's pretty big. It probably spans about half the leaf for sure.
Yeah, that should have sung right away. That's weird, but all right. I'm gonna make a note of that and then go do sentry sleep.
Okay. So then, Ayla, is there anything you want to do before you go to bed?
No, I'm just gonna sleep.
Okay. So then, Orlo and Laya, will you give me perception checks, please?
Oh, wait, were y'all awake when I made the traps? Because if not, then I'm just gonna let you know where the traps are.
They were probably awake, but they probably wouldn't have been paying attention. But
yeah, I want to let them know where the traps are.
good to go. You now are aware of the 4 traps that Flo has made.
It's too bad. That would have
No.
been funny.
I kept that in mind, and I was like, I wonder.
My perception check is 22, not natural.
Okay,
21, not natural.
nice. So much like what Ayla heard the night before, or the shift before, you guys definitely hear movement. You hear crackling. You hear occasionally some odd sounds and calls, a growl here and there. But you don't immediately notice anything that comes close enough for you guys to see.
We don't feel like we're being watched or anything like that. Or Orlo doesn't.
No, not particularly. It's actually a very calming night for you because it reminds you a lot of what you were used to doing before all of this started.
Okay, I just kind of relax a little bit.
Is Laya going to do anything in particular while you're on watch this evening?
I'll just be scribbling in my notebook, I think.
Okay. So as you guys are coming into the early parts of the morning, you do hear some odd sounds which you would say would be probably coming relatively towards you. Some twigs cracking and things like that.
Why did you hear that?
I did, and I'm gonna ready my bow.
And as you guys are sitting there, you kind of are staring off in the direction of where the sounds were coming from. And Flo, this might wake you actually, because you're aware of like what's going on around you, correct?
Yeah, I can see and hear everything.
Right. So you would hear this as well. But you see this figure shifting kind of out in the distance a little bit, coming in your direction towards you.
Mm. I'm gonna watch it, but just continuing to pretend like I'm asleep.
I'm asleep.
Sleep.
You see nothing.
It's like that's a Laya and Orlo problem.
And as the shape starts kind of getting closer and closer, you see that it kind of just turns right before it gets to where you guys are. And as it kind of broadsides to you, you see this really very large, what looks almost like a deer, maybe closer to an elk in size. Very, very big horns that kind of look almost like tree branches to an extent. And it blends in very well with the trees and the surrounding underbrush. But it's very large, and it just kind of turns, and it just looks like it's just kind of grazing. It looks like it's eating, stuff off the ground. And it pauses for a moment and looks over towards the two of you. It doesn't seem like it's looking directly at you, but it knows that something's over there. And then after a moment, it just kind of goes back and continues on its way past.
Is it just walking or is it moving quickly?
It's just walking. It's kind of grazing.
I guess it was nothing.
I suppose so.
So as morning kind of finally breaks, Ayla would probably wake up not feeling the best that you've ever felt. The three of you are probably a little bit groggy. Flo, you feel great, no problems.
Fantastic. I'm glad he's feeling well.
A-okay, Chief. A-okay.
but you don't feel terrible. Just maybe a little groggy. That's all. What would you like to do for the morning?
Probably eat whatever rations we had, or well, not all of them.
I was just about to
But
say,
some of them. But you know, my portion of the
All of it.
rations, you know.
Okay.
I will be where the deer was because I want to see if it left tracks. Or
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
I'll be tracking. 18.
So you had a pretty good idea of where you saw it at as it was kind of walking around. You make your way over there, and after a minute or so, you can kind of get your bearings of it, and you find some very fresh tracks. You can see where it kind of was running around in the underbrush, and you can definitely find some solid footprints where the ground is a little bit more wet.
Okay. So it was. We weren't just seeing things. Can I compared to the direction that we were heading in before we made camp, like, is it heading in the same direction or what direction did it go?
So it was coming from the north and then headed towards you and then out to the east. So the opposite way of which you're heading right now.
Okay. Can't think of anything. So.
Okay. Are you going to do anything with your traps?
I might dismantle the traps.
Okay. Go ahead and give me one more survival check then.
Unnatural 20.
So you, without any problem whatsoever, I mean, you're pretty accustomed to the way that they work. You just kind of snap them and make sure that they're not going to hurt anything while you guys aren't anywhere near here.
Okay.
And then you guys go ahead. Anything else any of you want to do this before you head out this morning?
Yeah. I asked, is that like a diary or something you were scribbling in, or what do you have? You just keeping track of the adventure or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
I just haven't seen you writing things down very much. I was curious what you were doing over there.
I write in it just about every night.
Interesting.
Which means don't peek.
I don't imagine it's really worth peeking at anyway.
Guess I'll take your word for it.
Mostly just an account of what happens and our experiences.
That's good. I keep everything locked away up here, nice and secure.
I guess we both have our methods then, don't we?
I'll have to compare notes sometimes.
I would love that.
Okay. So then you guys go ahead, get your things together, pack up the camp. It takes probably another 15 minutes or so to get everything torn down and packed back up.
I'm gonna try to erase our tracks.
Um,
Well, the fact that try to like not make it obvious that that's where we set up camp.
Sure. Give me one more survival check to see how you do.
My background's come in handy. It's super thorough.
And I would like to try to help him if I could.
Sure. So go ahead and roll that with advantage, Flo.
Hey, appreciate you. I let you down. It's a 10. we did one better.
So you do a pretty decent job. It's a little bit of a rough patch job, but you're pretty far off the beaten path. You're not super concerned about it, but it's not the best job you've ever done, that's for sure.
We'll just say I was teaching her the ropes.
So you guys travel for a little bit longer, about another hour and a half, and you finally make it to the running water that Orlo was smelling. It is a not a small stream, but it's big enough that it's very much flowing, but it's not too big that it's not easily crossable.
Okay. How's
Does
the current looking?
It's in some of the places it's relatively shallow, but the current's moving pretty well. It's not going to sweep you off your feet, but it's definitely moving for sure.
Does it look familiar, like it might have been the place in our dream?
Where you're at right this moment, not particularly, but it's again the forest looks relatively similar, so you have a resonating feeling about it, but you're definitely not in the same place, if that makes sense.
I'm going to look around the riverbed and try to find a rock that's similar to rock we got.
You kind of dig around for a few minutes. You find a few different types of rocks for sure, but you don't find anything that's as uniquely shaped or
No, I'm not looking for like the exactly the same. I just want one that's comparable.
Gotcha. Yeah, even still, you can't find something that seems like it's made out of the same type of stone.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'd like to pick up one. I'm gonna pick up one that's around the same size and just hold it to the surface of the water and then let it go.
So it just kind of plops into the river and it gets picked up by the current a little bit, but it ultimately settles pretty quickly right near where you dropped it.
Orlo, stand a little downstream.
What are we doing?
Just stand a little downstream.
Like in the water?
Yeah. You don't have to go too deep. Just the shoreline. I don't want to lose the rock.
If I step in the water, am I going to get taken away? Like, is it deep or?
Certain parts of it are, but not. I mean, it's not all super deep. No.
Okay. Okay, then yeah. Oh, all right then. Just kind of stomp out into the water.
And then I'm going to do the same motion with the rock that we got from within the cloth.
So you drop it in and it kind of hits and bounces a little bit off the bottom, but it ultimately does kind of surface up to the top and then float down the stream towards Orlo.
Yeah, and as it comes nearby, I grab it. Wait. How's this rock floating?
Not exactly sure.
I just walk it back over to Flo.
I'm gonna shake the rock.
You shake the rock.
And hear nothing.
No.
Stab it.
Crack it open like an egg. Um, I do want to kind of like lightly bang it against another rock, see, which is just to see like which is harder, which object affects the other.
You like smack it off of a rock, like just there, and it kind of it has a very normal reaction, but it seems like the one that you're holding, the one that floats, is a little bit more dense as far as like when you hit it against something.
This makes no sense.
What makes no sense?
This stone is lighter than any other stone here, yet more dense.
Magical stone.
I'm just going to put the stone in the water again. But before I let it go, I'm just gonna like try to move downstream ahead of it. Just
Okay.
because I just want to watch how the stone moves.
So you kind of like plop it in, and it kind of bounces again off the bottom and kind of floats its way up, and then just kind of starts to drift its way down the stream.
And just like the stream is carrying it, like as if that's. It sinks, but why does it rise again? Strange.
Do I know anything? I don't know. I feel like I probably would have like studied science and things when I was growing up. Do I know anything about why it might do that?
You would guess that it could possibly be hollow, but it could just be the type of rock as well. It could be a very porous rock that just happens to be very dense as well. You're not 100% certain though.
Okay.
But why give us this rock and tell us that we won't be able to find them? Bro, there ain't no way. My mind is just like floating stronghold, floating stronghold, floating stronghold, and I'm just like, bro, bro.
So what's the plan? Are you guys going to try to make your way back relatively towards where you thought you were headed, or are you going to try to follow the stream somehow?
Would the stream lead in the general direction that we were headed, that we were aiming to go towards before?
Kind of. If you, because it's kind of where you're at right now. You can either follow it south, east, or northwest. And where you were headed, you're still a little bit southeast of where you thought you were headed. So
Which way is the river flowing?
northwest, and it's going from northwest to southeast.
So we
Bro,
to go
ain't no way.
towards it, we would go
Upriver. Correct.
Bro, ain't no way. This is this is really starting to sound like Floating Stronghold.
Mm,
The river is from northwest to southeast.
Correct.
It seems like for the time being, we could follow the river upstream.
um, I know we're thinking about what we want to do next, but are you done with that rock? Because I could think of something to do with it, and I'm holding Bone Breaker and looking at the top of it, and then I look at the rope in my other hand.
And I'll hand him the rock.
And I just take it, and I'm gonna fasten it to the top of Bone Breaker.
Okay.
As you were.
I'm gonna snatch Bone Breaker and see how it floats in the water. Not noise. I'm looking downstream. I feel like we should go downstream, not upstream.
I mean, not to be rude, but why? What makes you want to go downstream?
You to remember the giant deer that was in the forest.
Yeah, how could I? I thought we were sleeping.
How did you know about the deer?
Anyway, giant deer. It, from what I could tell, it started off in our direction, and then it took off towards the east. And I can't help but feeling like that deer was a sign of some sort. It doesn't make sense that it doesn't make sense that you would go out of your way to tell your adversaries that they'll never find you, and then give them an item like that. The cloth would have sufficed on its own. And considering that we all had the same dream, and a very prominent feature of that was the river,
Well,
I'm
don't you not to interrupt, but don't you usually follow rivers downstream to get out of places? And aren't we trying to get into somewhere?
but what if where we're trying to get into doesn't stay in the same place?
Well, so if we were to follow it downstream, that's back towards Elriel. So what if we followed it upstream for now to try and find the spot that is Rinka marked on the map, and then on the way back we just follow it back downstream?
That sounds logical. A lot more logical.
And big brain.
Nice touch. Nice touch. I like that. I saw that. Yeah, so we'll follow this upstream to the source or to maybe what we're finding and then head back down when we need to go back to Elriel and just follow it the whole way. We'll stick to the river.
Sounds like a plan, and also a very good time to take a break.